And the winner is Michael Bova, Olaoshebiko, Okorede, Diuchika Jugo for suspicion.
I've sent you the YouTube link.
First of all, I want to thank Michael Botham. Shout out to him, who's not here today. He's our South African counterparts, and we put in a lot of work on this. I want to thank ABCA for giving us behind the scenes a platform to be seen. And the rest of the nominees, thank you guys, man. We put in a lot of hard work to make this, these movies come to life. And I want to thank Tosi for putting in that hard work and putting me on this dope project. So thank you, ABCA. Thank you guys. God bless.
Business in Lagos. My name is Ronda. Skeleton Coast. Jordan Cohen. Soft love. I'm Baba Moriguai. Shabi, the uprising, they'll be called century. This is on the hill after Ephraim and Peter Gate. The more the Toby or on the other hand, there's no share.
And the winner is
Nothing like a great edit. Tongai Furusa for Inkabi.
My name is Norman Market. I'm the director of the party, and I'm accepting this on behalf of Tongai, my editor for a long time. I know wherever he is, he's just jumping up and down and celebrating.
Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, doctor.
Good evening,
Prof.
Next writing, TV the nominees.
How are you?
I'm fine, Prof.
Yeah.
The moderator in few minutes, once it is 4, will begin the session.
Okay.
Yes, and then you take the introductions and everything and then hand over to you.
Okay, what of the brief this thing that you asked me to bio info that I asked me to send?
Yes, I've shared with the moderator. He will read it when it is time.
Okay.
You're Stephen, and I've been Bola Kerry Bola.
Experience a spike in their libido. Why did you tell me? Instead, you went to conquer each other. Water.
Rise of the spectre and ensure that
Good evening to you, Doctor.
we have to pay two addresses. One of them is she's Zara. Said, define Chili Barbara. Let's go. 7 doors divided Johnny and allow you your whole what we got. If I finish that maybe the scan's great. It's probably sponsored by all of that old taste is right.
And the winner is Abel Mutua Musioka for Untying Kantai. Welcome to the stage. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Philip Productions, I'm Kaibabi Makaba, one of the directors attached to Philip Productions in Kenya. And on behalf of Abel Mutua, brilliant writer, director.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Please, if you can
Mr.
hear me,
Rex,
just confirm.
good evening, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, this is just coming from Mr. Black. If you can hear me, just confirm with an emoji just to be sure my network is helping this very session. Good evening, everyone. Okay. Yes, okay, I can get this from us now. Oh, thank you. Please keep it coming just to be sure that we'll have a very interactive session today. Yes, thank you. It's already 1 minute after 4 o'clock, and we'll be doing a whole lot of working with the time today. My name is Rex, and I will be your moderator for today. I welcome you to this very great event, and I am of the hope that this would be very transforming. Okay, this will be a very transforming session for us all. If there are those who are yet to join this very session, please do well by sending them a reminder to be part of this very session as we get started. Interestingly, we have the prof already waiting. We're glad to have that. That is to say, we'll be running all through. Okay, because of time, I think we'll be doing the introduction of our prof to get started already. So I've already introduced myself. Okay, please, we would do this in this order. We'll first talk about GSAI. We'll introduce that before the introduction of the prof. Yes, so if you can still hear me, just indicate with an emoji. Thank you. Well, I think it will be better. We have Mr. Black do the introduction for clarity purposes. So please join me. Welcome, Mr. Black, as he come up to introduce the GSAI properly. Please give a rousey emoji, please.
Okay. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, from my end, yes.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so good evening, everybody. Good evening, and it's a beautiful time to be here once more. Thank you to all the students that have been coming on time. Already in less than 5 minutes, we already have 137 participants. This is encouraging, this is interesting, and it's also exciting to know that our facilitator is in class already. Professor Edna Akpan is already in class, and in due time, she will be introduced in the shortest time for her to begin her session. So I'll just be brief about this. Most of you have heard about, but we like doing this every time because some people may be joining the class for the first time. So this training that you are part of is organized by Growth for Sustainable Agriculture Initiative, GSAI, and we are a not-for-profit NGO that is focused on supporting African farmers to adopt sustainable farming practices. So we do that by virtue of trainings, by virtue of inputs, provision, different ways we can use to support African farmers. So when we find innovative ways of farming, we bring it to the farmers by training them or by showing them how to do it or by actually doing it and showing them the results. Any which way we are able to support African farmers. We also try to source for funding. So every way that is possible, because the African farmer needs a whole lot of support. And one of our mantra at GSAI is that Africa needs better farmers, not just more farmers. Africa needs better farmers. And we are trying to ensure that we have better farmers. And one of the ways we do that is through this training. So this year, one of our major projects is the 2025 World Food Safety Commemoration. We are commemorating the World Food Safety Day this year, and we have lined out activities that we want to carry out. And one of the activities is this 8 weeks training. That's the first activity we are doing, the 8 weeks training for farmers on farm food safety compliance. We want more farmers to be able to produce safe food. We want more farmers to be able to produce healthy food. We want more farmers to be able to produce food that they can sell in the international market, food that can be safe for consumption, both locally and internationally. And that is why we are here today. And today is class 3 out of 16 classes. So we've gone way, way, way far. So I will not want to talk very, very long. Our head office is here in Abuja, but with operational offices in like 4 states in Nigeria, in the north and in the south. And I want to state here before I hand over back to the moderator that I want to specially appreciate Akwa Ibom State University, the Vice Chancellor of Akwa Ibom State University, for graciously accepting to release his facilitator, his lecturers, to be part of this training. And then special appreciation goes to Professor Edna. She was the link for our organization to Akwa Ibom State University. She is a mother, as you can see. She's not a young person. She is our mother. And when we approached her and told her what we wanted to do, she jumped at it and said, wow, that is exciting. And she took us by the hands, took us to the management of Akwa Ibom State University. And today we have quality lecturers, quality PhD holders, professors being part of our facilitation session. So I want to say thank you so much to the facilitator. We'll be handing over back now. Some of you are already asking some questions in the chat box. We will attend to all those questions after the training. We like having the training first, and then we now talk about other challenges, other questions that you have in the other questions that you have about the training. So thank you so much, everybody. Already 150 students in class. That is exciting. His record is record breaking, because most other trainings you go to, you have to wait for 10 minutes, for 5 minutes, for 20 minutes, waiting for people to join. But we have 150 students as at just 9 minutes into time, and that is record breaking. I want to appreciate all of you. I'm sure that by the end of this training, you all will be better farmers, producing healthy and safe food that we can export outside and we can eat locally. Thank you so much. I will be coming back after the session to continue any other announcement. But for now, moderator, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Black, and it's nice hearing all we are doing already. We hope that by the end of this very meeting, we'll be having better farmers and better food, both to consume and to export. Here we have currently 150 participants. If you know those who are yet to join, please do well by sending them links or bringing it to their remembrance about this very meeting. We are currently streaming live on Facebook. Please, for those who are finding it difficult or having difficulty in participating in the Zoom meeting, please, you can go to our YouTube channel, and the link of the YouTube will be, will be in the chat already for you to send to them. Okay, the YouTube channel might have been sent to the group as well. So very quickly, we will be going to the next agenda, which is, yes, YouTube, please. Yes, introduction of our guest. I'll be doing that pretty quick. If you are set to have our guest, please an emoji in the group. If you're set to have our guests come up. Please, if you're in the group, if you can hear me, please, if you're in the set to have our guests come up, please indicate in the group with an emoji. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Shaku. Oh, thank you. Okay. Please get your papers, get your writing pads and pen ready, because we'll be having our guest. But before our guest comes up, I'll be introducing our guest. I'll be reading a bit of our guest bio. Prof. Edna A. Akpan, Professor of Crop Science Production Protection Specialist, former IITA CEDP Manager, immediate past Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, Akwa Ibom State University, Akwa Ibom State former HOD, Crop Science, former HOD, Soil Science, former Deputy Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, Deputy Dean, Student Affairs, former Director, Akwa Ibom State University Commercial Farm, former Director, Akwa Ibom State Counseling Service, former member, Akwa Ibom State Technical Committee on Agriculture and Food Sufficiency, currently Director, Career Service Center of Akwa Ibom State. Please join me as we welcome no one else but Professor EDNA, or rather Professor Edna A. Akpan, as he gets onto the podium in this very session. Please, with a rousy hand clap, a virtual hand clap, please join me as we welcome the Prof to today's meeting. Thank you. Please keep it coming. Keep it coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please, over to you, Prof.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Prof.
Clearly, Prof.
Okay, good evening, farmers and my good listeners. I'm very happy to be part of this program on farm food safety compliance by GSAI. And the topic we're going to discuss today is on farm hygiene best practices. Like I rightly said, my name is Edna Augustine Akpan. We have a sub-focus for this title, Farm Hygiene Best Practices. And the sub-focus is on the importance of mainstreaming hygiene on the farm, personal hygiene for farmers and farm workers, then cleaning and sanitizing tools, equipment, and facilities. But I needed to elaborate that more by also adding a few other important and salient points that will really help our farmers to achieve their set goals on farm hygiene best practices. So the outline for today's discussion will be introduction, importance of maintaining hygiene in the farm, and importance of that farm hygiene, personal hygiene for farmers and farm workers, ways of maintaining personal hygiene for farmers and farm workers, cleaning and sanitizing tools, equipment, and facilities, and ways of cleaning and sanitizing tools, equipment, and facilities. Then we'll also be looking at benefits of proper cleaning and sanitation, procedures that are involved in proper cleaning and sanitation, and then we'll also be looking at the preventive measures. Next slide,
Prof.
please. Yes, sir.
Prof, is it possible to
Yes.
put on your video, maybe briefly?
I'm having issues over here,
Okay.
but I'm managing to hear.
No problem.
Can I
No problem, Prof.
continue? All right. So as means of introduction, first and foremost, since we are talking about farm hygiene, we must understand what a farm is before we now proceed to farm hygiene. So as a means of introduction, farm could be referred to as any land dedicated for growing crops or keeping of animals to make money and to take care of families, thereby improving their means of livelihood in a more sustainable way. Then when we're talking about farm hygiene, we are referring to the sanitation practices that are being put in place in the farm to prevent the spread of disease and pests, insects and parasites, and also ability to maintain the health of farmers, crops, and animals. It can also be referred to as an agricultural hygiene that helps to protect farmers, livestock, insects and crops from pests and diseases, including insects, pathogens, that is the disease-causing organisms, then parasites and weeds. Now, what are the steps involved in maintaining farm hygiene? The first step that is involved in maintaining farm hygiene, number 1 is cleaning. Number 2, disinfection. Number 3, waste management. And number 4, personal hygiene. When we are looking at cleaning, for all the farm tools, the immediate environment and everything that has to do with the farm must be kept properly clean. And mostly the equipment must be kept clean. And then, you know, the restroom and other things that you have around your farm, even in the farmhouse, should be disinfected. Disinfection is very important so that if you're having an integrated farm, the farmers, the animals, and the crops may not be infected in one way or the other because of poor hygiene. So we also need to also know a little about waste management. That waste that is being generated in the farm can be recycled for further use. For example, if you have cattle, the cattle dung could also, what you call the cow dung, could also be used to generate, you know, energy in the farm. And it could also be used, you know, some of those that are waste could also be recycled and then used as manure. And then personal hygiene is apt. It's very important as one of the major aims of maintaining farm hygiene, because from the farmer itself, you have to be personally clean to be able to handle clean animals too. So, and you need to keep your environment very clean. If your environment is not clean, your crops will become sick and your animals will become sick. And sometimes the animals can also transfer sickness from animals to man, you know, the farmers, if the hygiene of the farm is not in good order. What are these outcomes of farm hygiene? The outcomes of this farm hygiene, number 1 is to improve the animal and plant health. And number 2, to reduce risk of disease outbreaks. Number 3 is to enhance overall farm productivity. This farm hygiene, when the animals are properly taken care of and the plants are properly taken care of, the health status of those animals and plants will be very good. And at the same time, they will perform very well and their yields will be very high. Then when it is properly managed, the hygiene of the farm is properly managed, it will reduce the risk of disease outbreaks. When the animals are properly vaccinated at when due, you know, most of them will not get sick, and then the disease outbreak will be reduced to its minimal level. And this will also take us to what we call enhanced overall farm productivity, which will be increase in yield of both the animal products that we have and also the crops that we keep. Importance of maintaining hygiene in the farm. Number 1, importance of maintaining hygiene in the farm is that it helps to protect livestock or other animals from diseases and pests. Number 2, it ensures that the food that we consume will be hygienic enough and ensures food safety, animal safety, and welfare, and it will also lead to economic stability. Another importance of maintaining hygiene in the farm is that good hygiene practices includes the following. Number 1, sanitation. When we are talking about sanitation, we are referring to keeping the entire environment very clean, and at the same time, our ability to also keep the animal pens clean. Put the plants, you know, the crops that you have planted out there in the field, you know, clean, free of weeds, because weeds is where the pests harbor, especially insect pests. And then they come out from that pest, you know, from the weeds, and they attack our crops. And apart from that, the weeds there will also compete with the crops for the available nutrients in the soil. So when we are able to weed our fields and make the fields clean, you know, weed-free, the plants will not be able to compete, you know, will not have a competitor for the available nutrients in the soil. Now, let's talk about biosecurity. Whenever we are talking about biosecurity, we are referring to security from exposure to harmful biological agents. If the environment is clean, we are assured of biosecurity in our farms. So those good hygiene practices also includes pest and disease control as at when due, and our ability to reduce need for pest and disease control. Because if you keep the farm hygiene in place and make sure that the management of that farm is properly done, you will discover that it will reduce the amount of pests and disease that we have, and thereby reducing the cost of this pest and disease control. Then it also promotes sustainable farming practices. When you become accustomed or used to managing your farm hygiene, it will promote sustainable farming practices, which other people, other researchers, other farmers could also come to learn from. Okay, looking at the importance of farm hygiene, we need to talk about maybe an integrated farm, not just crops components only, could be crops or animal components or a combination of the two. But let's start with the livestock. In area of disease prevention and pest control, when we are talking about livestock, we are referring to animals. We need to clean and sanitary environment that reduces the risk of disease and pest outbreaks. Taking an example from the piggery farm, where you produce your pigs, you need to keep the wallow clean, where you put water for the pigs to drink, and the feeder trough very well. You need to clean them and change the water and clean the entire environment. You wash the entire environment every day. And if it is for the birds, the same thing is applicable to the birds, irrespective of the type of birds you are keeping, whether they are broilers or pullets, that is layers. So you need to change the water every day, remove the litter every day, that is the poultry dung every day, and then you also need to change the feed every day for them, and clean the feeding troughs and the drinking troughs every day. You clean the entire environment, so that will also help to reduce disease and pest outbreaks. Then looking at proper waste management, I had already mentioned that of a cattle or cow. Under this, if you're looking at a case study of poultry, you will come to discover that the poultry dung, the poultry waste could also be used as farmyard manure. A lot of people use that, a lot of farmers use that in their farm when they're growing their crops. So waste could easily be managed by recycling, and you need to keep them properly and keep them safe. You must have a place that you can store the waste so that it may not contaminate, or it may not have direct, contact with water or rainfall. When the rain soaks the waste, it will smell and the whole environment can become polluted and contaminated. So we need to take a very cognizance of what we have said about proper waste management. Then under livestock too, we also need to carry out regular health checks and animal vaccination. They have a scheduled vaccination, especially for the birds. So from time to time, we need to look at them, and then we need to carry out what we call culling in birds. When you see those birds, like the broilers or the pullets or the layers that are not, active, you may decide to pull them out to another enclosure to separate them, and then be able to see what is wrong with the bird, check what is wrong with the bird, and then you see what you can do in terms of health checks, and then you need to give them proper vaccination. Another importance of farm hygiene when it comes to crops is that you need to keep a hygienic practices, most especially clean fields, by weeding your fields and keeping your fields weed-free. Because most of the pests and diseases that we have on crops harbors in the weeds. Then number two, the storage facilities must be kept clean to avoid contamination. Most often people don't sweep around where they have the storage facilities. They don't even fumigate, and they don't even fumigate the environment and clean the environment for them to be able to store. And even the storage facilities, this should be done from time to time. so that it will also help to improve the farm hygiene. We need what we call proper storage methods. If your crops that you have harvested, for example, are not properly stored, they will get spoiled within the shortest possible time. So we need to keep proper storage methods for each and every crop that you have in the farm. Don't forget that each crop has its own ways and manners of storing them. For example, in the southeast, if you are producing, or north central, if you're producing yams, you will need to also have your yam barns where you can store your yams. If you store them in the hot house, they will get rotten very fast. So we need proper storage methods. And then in the northern parts of the country, we also have a lot of silos where a lot of grains are being stored for future use. So those environments need to be cleaned and properly kept well so that they will not contaminate the seeds that are being stored there. And also we need prevention of pests and diseases. When all these hygienic conditions are being met, we will be able to prevent pests and diseases in crops and livestock. Under pest control, we want to look at good hygiene. Good hygiene and sanitation, it reduces the abundance and diversity of insects and other pests. What we mean by diversity of insects here is that when you have an outbreak of insects, you will see that there are other insects that are prey and others that are predators that will want to feed on this. So if the hygiene and sanitation is not properly kept in your farm, you will have an outbreak of arrays of different types of insects or pests in your farm, which will attack your crops, attack your animals, and sometimes could also give a devastating result at the end. We also need to minimize damage to crops and livestock or animals, because when a farm is being kept clean, that will lead to minimizing damage to our crops and livestock. Then when we look at food safety too, it's very important because maintaining hygienic practices in processing facilities. A lot of processing facilities across the country is always very highly unkempt. So we need to step up the game by keeping the processing facilities clean. When the processing facilities are being kept, the food that is being produced in such processing facilities will be served for consumption. So we need to look at the transportation, that is transport vehicles that are being used to transport the raw materials like the crops, the tubers or whatever, or grains from the farm to, from the farm to the processing center. They also need to be cleaned properly so that they may not be able to transfer, pests from one farm to the other or to the processing center. Now, we also have some retail stores where we keep the processed products that we have. These retail stores should be kept clean too. Even within the farmhouse, they have outlets where they have the sales outlets that could also serve as retail stores. So they need to keep this so that we may not have outbreak of insects and diseases. Should be kept clean. We also need to look at the storage facilities to avoid contamination and ensure safety of meat, milk, and other produce. So if you are looking at the dairy products, especially the meat and the milk from the cattle, you need to keep that environment very clean because most often a lot of pathogens are being harbored in where we produce those products. And we need to clean them properly. When it is properly cleaned, then there will be food safety and food security. Now, we want to look at the animal welfare. This will also lead to improved quality of life and reduce stress in animals. When the environment is kept clean, for example, like the broilers or the layers, the quality of products that you will have, like the birds, the finished product that you will have, or if it's the layers, the eggs, the quality will also improve and it will reduce stress because most of them sometimes are being given feeds and then they don't have enough water. Sometimes the animal pen may be too hot for them. So we need to also be able to know how to regulate the temperature of that pen so that it could be soothing for the animal. But most importantly, the pens need to be cleaned regularly, and then the litter needs to be changed as at when due, and then water needs to be available whenever they are being given food, and even after they had taken their feeds. So we need to maintain clean and safe environments, which will lead to the overall health and well-being of these animals. We had talked about animals, we've talked about the crops and components, and a combination of the two. But let us talk about the economic benefits. Economic benefits. The economic benefits of keeping a farm hygiene, a good farm hygiene, is that it will reduce costs. It leads to cost reduction. When you're able to prevent disease outbreaks and pest infestations, and also reduce costs associated with treatments or lost productivity, it will reduce the loss of those livestock or animals. So when you are able to keep your pens clean, the sanitary condition of your pens are being kept very clean, then the outcomes will be that it will prevent disease outbreak, and then the yield from your farm will increase, and then the monies you will make as proceeds or profits from your farm will also increase. So the second one, we're talking about increased productivity. Under increased productivity, we are looking at healthy animals and crops that lead to higher yields, improved quality, and increased profitability for farmers. When the sanitary condition of the farm is good, the animals will be healthy. That will lead to increase in their yields. It will also improve their quality and increase profitability for the farmers. Now, we had talked about biosecurity and human health. It is very important for us to take care of our farmers, especially our workers. Under biosecurity, we have what we call zoonotic disease prevention. This will help to prevent diseases which can be transmitted from animals to humans. There are certain diseases that can be transferred from animals to humans. So we must be able to keep our environment clean so that we don't have such outbreak of diseases, and so that animals will not be able to transfer some of their diseases to man, and to the farmers. And we need to also look at antimicrobial resistance by reducing the spread of infection through good hygienic practices. And this contributes to fighting against antimicrobial resistance, which is also a global concern. So if we reduce the effect of infection in our farm, all those microorganisms that causes diseases to plants, to animals, to even human beings will be reduced. We want to look at the physical hygiene for farmers, and farm workers. Personal hygiene for farmers and farm workers is very important and crucial. This involves frequent hand washing. In fact, bathing, wearing clean clothing, and maintaining a good sanitary and hygienic work environment. It is surprising to see that in the hinterland, a lot of farmers do not even wash their farm clothes. They don't wash their hands. They just go into the farm like that, and then they start handling animals and plants. If you do not practice hand washing, wearing of clean clothing, and maintaining a good sanitary and hygienic work environment, honestly speaking, there's bound to be contamination, serious contamination to the animals and also to the farm. So it is important to provide all those hand washing equipments in the farm. You know, they should be stationed at certain locations in the farm, whereby the farmer should always wash his or her hands before even getting, especially to the animal pens. So this will help to also prevent the spread of diseases and maintain food safety. They also include access. This includes, for us to be able to have physical hygiene for farmers, we must be able to produce access to clean water, toilets, and hand washing facilities. We are aware of the fact that a lot of farms do not even have where the farmers can defecate. So they don't have toilets. But in some commercial farms, they do have. So it is pertinent that the farmers get used to using these hand wash facilities and the toilets whenever, and also source of clean water for feeding the animals and for also washing of those pens and cleaning the pens. There are various ways of maintaining personal hygiene for farmers and farm workers. Like I rightly mentioned, number one is hand washing. There must be regular hand washing with soap, not just hand washing, under running tap. And then you need to wash hands before eating and after use of restroom or toilet or touching your face. The reason is that so that you do not transfer, contamination from contaminated hands, environment to your animals. And you should learn to use hand sanitizer when soap or water are not readily available. We have to also look at another way of maintaining personal hygiene for farmers and farm workers is through clothing. They need to wear clean clothes. I had already emphasized on that. Some farmers just remove their dirty clothes and keep in the farmhouse and go home. When they come back the next day, they now put on the same dirty clothes and then they continue work. That is not practicable if you need to maintain hygiene in the farm. So you need to wear aprons when you go through most of those processes, especially during processing of animal products in the farm. Or outside using the aprons, you can also use other protective clothing when handling food or animal. You need to wash your work clothes separately from the family clothes. You don't take contaminated clothes from the farm to go and wash and mix with your family clothes so that you will not bring what we call cross-infection from the farm to the home. So you need to wash the clothes that you use in the farm separately from the ones you used in the homes. You also must maintain a good working environment. And how do you do this? By ensuring that there is access to clean water, toilet, and hand washing facilities. And I keep repeating that because without clean water, you cannot keep your pens clean. You need to maintain an organized working environment, and then you must be able to dispose your waste properly. Another important and captivating aspect is pesticide handling. Whenever you want to handle pesticides, in short, what we mean by pesticides are those chemicals, whether organic or inorganic chemicals, that are being used in controlling pests in your farm. First and foremost, when you buy the right chemical for the right purpose. Secondly, you need to follow all safety precautions on pesticides labels. When you buy a pesticide, you will have the precautions being written clearly. You have to read through those precautions on the label of that pesticide container. This includes, the precautions will include proper mixing, proper application, and the disposal procedures. Sometimes some people just dispose pesticide containers anyhow. It is not advisable for them to be disposed anyhow. So our children may not mistakenly, or even adults that are not well exposed and experienced, may not mistakenly take it to use as water bottle. So you need to dispose them properly, and then you don't need to eat, drink, or smoke while handling pesticides. Some pesticides are very volatile. To avoid accidental ingestion of the chemicals, you also need to wash hands and face thoroughly after handling pesticides to avoid contamination. But before you handle your pesticides, you must be able to use what we call the PPE, what we call personal protective equipment, before use of pesticides. You need to wear these personal protective equipment, like what we call the coverall. You have to use the goggles, like the glasses, and then the respirators, what you use to cover your nose So you don't inhale those pesticides or insecticides or fertilizers. You know, you need to use your boots, and you need to tuck in your personal protective equipment inside that boot, and then be properly kitted. You need the hand gloves. You need to use, you know, helmets, and then you have to be properly kitted before you start the use of pesticides. So for personal protective equipment, what we call PPE, you need to wear proper and appropriate personal protective equipment when necessary. Examples is the hand gloves I have talked about, the respirators, the one you put on your nose, you know, to cover the nose so that you don't inhale those chemicals directly, or the eyeglasses that you use, the goggles on your eye to protect your eyes, depending on specific task. And don't forget, each of them have potential hazards, so you need to protect yourself. And you also need to change your personal protective equipment regularly. What we call PPE is personal protective equipment regularly, and ensure it is in good condition to avoid spread of germs and contamination from one point to the other. Under farm hygiene too, we need to also look at the general health of even our animals, and that we need to get them vaccinated against common farm-related illnesses. And then they must stay hydrated and get enough sleep. When I say staying hydrated, I'm referring to giving them enough water that they need, enough quantity of water that they need per day, so that they can also be able to get enough sleep and then relax and not get stressed up. Then we also need to seek medical attention. The individuals, for example, the farmers that maybe had to spray the farm, you know, with some chemicals, will need to seek medical attention if they feel sick. And for you, a farmer, you need to eat well and then need a balanced meal for you to have energy to do your work. And I had really re-emphasized that you do not wear dirty footwear and clothing. When you are working, especially in a commercial farm, in a big farm, you need boots. So you will not match on either sharp objects or even on snakes, for those that run away from snakes or other harmful materials. So we need to protect ourselves to be able to give the best of service. So most importantly, like I had said, your PPE, that's personal protective equipment, is very important when you are managing your farm. When you get to the farm, you remove the clothes that you came in with and keep it in the farmhouse, and then you put on your personal protective equipment. Cleaning and sanitizing tools, equipment, and facilities. We all know the importance of cleaning and sanitizing our farm tools, equipment, and facilities because it is very important. This will help to prevent spread of diseases. It will also help to ensure safe working conditions, and it will also increase lifespan of the equipment. Some farms do have tractors, and after use of that tractors, they do not clean the tractors. All you need is to use water to wash those tractors, clean them, and put them in a clean and hygienic environment, so that when you take it to another farm, you will not, take some pests, diseases, and even seeds of weeds to be introduced in other people's farm. So it will also help to prevent diseases when they are properly cleaned. Some people don't clean their farm tools, even the machetes, the spades, the hoes that they use, the basins, the feeding troughs, and so on. You need to clean them periodically, every time after use. Ways of cleaning and sanitizing tools, equipment, and facilities. First and foremost, you need to wash those equipment and tools regularly. After washing them, the ones that needs to be disinfected, you have to carry out disinfection, so that you will also have to imbibe proper maintenance practices. If you have, for example, if you have tractors and you're working on your field, you need to come back and tighten the knots, clean the tires, clean the tractors, the plow, the harrow, the ridger, and so on, and then it will help you to keep your equipment well. And then if you are debicking, for example, birds, cutting the beak of the birds, so that they will not punch on the other animals, perch on other animals, or also other birds, or also perch on the eggs. All you need to do is that after using those equipments like this, what you use to equipment you use to cut the beaks of the birds, you need to clean them and disinfect them and keep them properly for further use. What are these benefits of proper cleaning and sanitation? Number one, it keeps repeating itself. It reduces risk of disease. It also improves safety in the farm, and it will increase production and extended lifespan. Procedures that are involved in cleaning and sanitizing tools, equipment, etc. Number one is cleaning and disinfection, like I had said. When you are washing, you have to use detergents to remove the dirt, the grease, and body fluid from the surface. Sometimes you could also decide to use warm or hot water if where necessary, or if it is available. And you need to scrub most of those equipments to be able to remove those stubborn stains. Then if you're looking at disinfection, you can use of various disinfectants could also help. Some people use hypo, hypochlorite, calcium hypochlorite, and so on for surface tools and equipment. Then cleaning of livestock handling tools daily and weekly. I had also mentioned that whatever you use to feed your birds, the poultry birds like the broilers, the layers, and others, you need to clean all those drinking troughs, feeding troughs. You need to debeaker those things. You need to remove the beak. You need to clean the entire pen. If you are doing like the cattle, you want to tattoo your cattle, you also need to clean those equipment and keep properly and safe for use next time. So we can also look at another method of cleaning, that is the one we call steam cleaning. Steam cleaning is very effective for cracks and the pipe work. So you can steam clean where you have the pipe works and then the cracks. It is mostly used in most of the commercial farms, not in our small farms. But it is important that we know that these things happen in bigger farms, and they could also use high pressure water. It is also effective for wood metals, concrete cleaning, tractors, and other heavy farm equipment. So when you do that, if you see how they clean these big trucks, the same way is applicable to the way they also clean the tractors in the farm. What are these preventive measures we are looking at? We need to avoid customizing or modifying engines so it does not damage complex parts. Sometimes we alter a lot of things in the engine or customize some of the equipment that we use. If the equipment has faults, you need to replace it. You get a replacement that is exactly the type that is needed for that, so that it will not damage the complex parts, especially for tractors. So cleaning agricultural machinery in particular, you need to clean those machines after use. Even if it is a hand plow that you use to plow the land, okay, even if it's a hand rotor, you can also be able to clean them. Then livestock transportation vehicles should be cleaned and disinfected regularly so that they could not, have what we call cross-infection from a previously used vehicle or transport that are transported very sick animals from one location to the other, and then it's being brought to your farm to, transport clean animals to your farm. So the clean ones would be infected by those ones that were sick. And once again, I want to re-emphasize on the area of livestock transport vehicles. Most of the time, our birds, for example, they get sick before they are being brought to the farm. You need to check the health condition of those birds. You need to check the farm hygiene. You clean the entire pen. and then you now take out all litters, wash the floors where necessary, and the same thing before you now receive your birds, for example. If you're receiving them, they must be in good condition. So, as part of farm hygiene best practices, we have talked about all the sub-focus titles that we have, being importance of maintaining hygiene on the farm. We have talked about personal hygiene for farmers and farm workers, that for farm workers, they need what we call PPE. Personal what? They need the PPE equipment to cover themselves. And then we have also talked about cleaning and sanitizing tools, our equipment and facilities in the farm. Wow. In appreciation, I want to thank Ruth for Sustainable Agriculture Rural Initiative, GSAI, the farmers, and my wonderful audience for listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you. Please, if you have gotten value from this very session, please, a rousey emoji, could be a hand clap, a smile to our Prof. Please do that. Yes, please. Thank you. Please keep it coming. Thank you so much, Prof. We'll be going very, very quickly to our question and answer session. And we'll be doing it pretty quick. For me, if I got something from this very session, which is for farm hygiene, in the course of the teaching, Prof mentioned that if you have a clean farm, it will save you a lot of costs. If you have a clean farm, it will save you a lot of costs. And I want to believe everybody loves costs. Whatever that saves you costs, you are maximizing profits. Very quickly, I would start with this very question, which has to do with from one of us. He said how can we be linked or get assets for loan our proper agricultural process? Let me take that again. How can we be linked or get access to loan for our proper agricultural process?
Can I answer the question now?
Please go ahead, Prof.
First and foremost, we have AgriBank, Bank of Agriculture. Bank of Agriculture will give loan to farmers if they come as a cooperative. That's number one. Okay. Number two, it depends on the states in question. In some states, like my state, Akwa Ibom State, the state government is even giving grants now for agricultural purposes, not even loan. So I think my state deserves a big applause for that. So for farmers, they can get loans from the bank if you have your business plan, your feasibility studies on ground, or they can reach out to people that can do it for them, depending on their size of the farm. And there are some organizations that support farmers in the states. Not just loans could be in terms of cash. Loans could also be in terms of agro products, agro products, yes. They can decide to give you planting materials to support your farm while you develop your farm. And after that, they will still come back to offtake from you and pay money for offtaking at the farm gate. So we have a lot of loans also hiding inside the internet, which a lot of people have not yet accessed. So we need linkages and collaborations. When you are able to link with other cooperatives, you form yourself into a group, you'll be able and have a group WhatsApp group. You'll be able to form a WhatsApp group for your group. You'll be able to also know what is going on. If the state government is supporting agriculture, I know that Niger State government is supporting agriculture big time. Akwa Ibom State government is supporting agriculture big time. That is why they have set up a technical committee on agriculture and food sufficiency in the state. Part of it is to support farmers. And most importantly, we have some very serious-minded farmers that they don't have, their names are not there on the farmers' database. So most often when the loans have come, they do not have. So for those in other states that do not have what we call database for farmers, please go and get yourself, at the Ministry of Agriculture, find out what kind of loans that they have there for farmers or what kind of support they can give you as a farmer in your various states. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Now, this is another question, Prof. Still on farm hygiene. It is very easy to, rear the broilers. And most persons does rear their broilers at residential areas. You talked about outbreak of disease that's of farm that affects human. I'd like you to give real life diseases of this farm. For example, the droplets of this of these chickens. Most times when it rains, especially like raining season like we currently are, you see so many persons taking advantage of disposing it on water channels that are going. What would you say is one of those diseases that might likely happen? Because this is always found in rural areas and it's always not a good one. So what kind of disease are they likely to expect as a result of the practice? I'm sure someone here who might have that been practicing such might want to desist from it, knowing the impact it has to society.
I have seen broilers farmers. I've visited some farm when we had integrated farmer scheme for the state as as a integrated farmer scheme consultant. I visited some farms where we had broilers farmers. The way and manner that they kept the farm hygiene is so clean that the farm is so clean that you can even sit there to eat or drink water. And the way they dispose, like I had mentioned during my training, the way they dispose their waste, they will package it, they will put it in the feed bag, and they don't just dispose it anyhow outside. They have a room where they keep, they have a shed that they keep them, and then they keep them on a raised platform so it does not have contact with water. When it has a direct contact with water, that's when it starts giving out that pungent odor, that disturbs the entire environment. It becomes a serious environmental pollution. That's and the air in that environment will be completely polluted. But that notwithstanding, when some of them, anybody that disposes his waste, especially the poultry or broiler waste, into water, is contaminating the water through drainages, and that will bring about waterborne diseases like the diarrhea, dysentery, and all those stuff, which all can agree and attend to that fact. So we need to be able to, like I said, be able to dispose our waste properly, keep them properly, and in Akwa Ibom State in particular, broilers dung, poultry litter, what they call litter, and the waste are being used in growing vegetables like fluted pumpkin, like water leaves, because the kaikong is a major delicacy in the Akwa Ibom State. It's not even enough for the farmers. People have always been booking in advance, and it is the feedback that they normally use to, empty the litter, what we call the poultry dung, into, and then they put them in a safe place where they will not have direct contact with water, rainwater, or any runoff. So if they do not have direct contact, they will not be able, to pollute the environment when they are properly kept and kept safe. So the ability to be able to create a space and then keep a shed and then a rest platform for you to put those before you even bring them. The farmers are already lined up to be able to buy those poultry dung. So those that have been wasting their dung are wasting money. Every aspect of broiler production is an enterprise on its own. Even the sales of the dung. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from Daniel Nkanta. He says, taking from the point of pest and disease control as concerning the hygiene practice, now, ma'am, what happens when using pesticides or fungicides, as the case may be, and this application of insecticides? why then our products or crop are most likely not as acceptable whenever it's weighs in balance by foreign buyers or exportation? What is the alternative?
You must be sincere about whatever you are doing. First and foremost, if you're giving to foreigners, for example, and they're asking or requesting for organic food, it must be produced organically. Even if you're using pesticides, the pesticides must be organic pesticides. You understand what I mean?
Yes,
Good.
ma'am.
So so in a situation where there is what we call pesticidal residue, even in plants. So
Yes.
if you're not able to manage that properly, it will affect the quality of the product or the produce that you are taking to the markets, and adversely will also affect humans too, human health. So we need to be very sure that we follow the right schedule for each of these activities, what we call agronomic practices, each steps when and that went to in the farm, so it will not affect you, will not affect the public, will not affect the the final product and then the consumer.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof. We will be taking more questions, but this time around, Prof, please, because we want to accommodate a lot of questions as short as possible, that will help us take more questions, because we would like you to attend to, virtually everyone's questions in this very session. Yes. So the next question is from Ladi Jebi. Ladi Jebi said, what method of local storage can one apply where silos are not available, please?
Where what? Where
silos are not available.
SILO, silos.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Some it depends on the quantity. Before you talk about using the silo is for commercial farmers that produces, high tonnage of crops. That's in huge tons of that crop. But if it is just for maybe your own farm that is not up to the level of a commercial farm, not up to maybe an hectare of land, you can decide to use sometimes some people use this containers that are like GP containers, you understand? And then they cover the top. They cover the top with nets, so that you cannot have this very tiny nets that will not allow other insect pests to go in. But before then, they could also use some organic materials, organic products like pepper, like ginger, like garlic, and others. And then they mix with those seeds or crops, and then they store them for as long as they want to use it without having to take it to the silo. But if you need to take to silo, an individual alone, unless it's a very large hectare of land, will need to, link up with other farmers and then get off-takers to be able to off-take from them in huge quantity to be able to take to the silo. So apart from that, you can store your grains in any way, in any manner at home. Some store them in pots. This clay pots, if it's smaller quantity. And in the south, for example, if it is most of the, we depend on the rain-fed agriculture. So most of the corn, most of the seeds like corn, we eat them fresh. And if we decide to dry some of them, we dry them under where we use firewood, and then we control that. When they are properly dried to the desirable moisture content, we now bring them down and then we store. Sometimes some people store them and then put some pepper and tie in a thick cellophane bag so that insect pests may not penetrate into it and destroy the seeds. Yeah.
No. Thank you, Prof. The next question is on Abdullahi. Abdullahi is saying here that he has two questions. So the first is, how can small-scale farmer effectively implement biosecurity measures without incurring high costs? The second is, what are the most critical hygiene practices that directly impact disease prevention in mixed farming systems?
In mixed farming systems, for me, it's proper cleaning, disinfection, proper waste management, and your personal hygiene. That's all you need. And I had explained each and every one of that. So for the small scale farmers, they are the ones that are very conscious of their farm hygiene because they will clean if they are very intentional and passionate about their farms. They are the ones that manages their farm pests because all their eyes is on that farm.
Okay, thank you. Prof, someone else is requesting for your slide. That's not a question, but that's a request. One is requesting
the request is left with the GSAI. So
Very
Daniel
well.
Black can handle that. That's beyond me.
Of course,
Okay.
of course. Okay, quickly, let me just interject.
Very well, Mr. Black.
Prof, of course. So to all the participants, as we always do, we share all the slides. So you will receive the slides immediately after the session on the WhatsApp group.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Black, I want you to come in on this one. I want you to come in on this one before you drop, before you mute your mic. There is this particular channel talking about cost savings, right, for farm. There is this particular channel called Let Us Farm. The man is into catfish farming. He does something that a lot of farmers might like, and because things like maybe vets might be difficult to consult a vet, they will always want to bill you and the costs will be quite much. And every other thing that has to do with farming is capital intensive. What he does is he asks you for fish farming, if you have any problem, do a short video, maybe 2 minutes or so, sent to my WhatsApp. He does it for free. And this has been helping a lot of farmers. I want to ask, is there any platform where farmers here, especially maybe from the rural areas, can always, maybe it could be a channel, an app that they could always run to for this free, consultations or free help for farming, please?
Okay, yeah, thank you, moderator. So that's a question that we'll answer, I think, in the next class. Why that? Because we actually have a partner called Farm App, and he'll be coming up in the next class. It's a farm management and advisory app. So these people carry out these activities and support farmers in local areas. And I think they also even have a USSD option for farmers that are not in internet areas with internet reach. So in our next session, we will be introducing the Farm app, and we'll be telling farmers how they can benefit, how they can get advisory, how they can get farm management skills from there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Black. That will be helpful for someone who has that in mind. The next is to Prof. Prof, please. This question is, Prof, please, how can we effectively manage a mixed farm without transferring disease from livestock to crop?
Hello?
Should I take that again, Prof?
Yes, please take that again.
Yes, this question is from Dawood. He is saying here, please, how can we effectively manage a mixed farm without transferring disease from livestock to crop?
Okay. By keeping your pens clean, proper cleaning, washing your pens every day, and then changing the litter, that's the animal dung, remove them every day. You wash the pens every day. If it is like a piggery production, that's it. In the north, they do not really do much of that. But in the poultry section, for example, you need to change the water from the water trough every day, and you clean the water trough every day, and you put clean water. The same thing in the feeding trough, And then if the roofs are leaking, for example, you need to close up that leakage so that the rainwater, if you have rains, will not have direct access to the pens. It will disturb and affect the animals and can also allow what we call pathogens to concentrate. That is the disease-causing organisms. Once they concentrate and then they converge together, there's bound to be outbreaks. So proper farm hygiene is the key. This will also help to improve your animal and plant health, and then will reduce the risk of this outbreak and also improve the overall farm productivity. So you don't even transfer You know, you don't transfer the infection from the animals to the field, but rather most of those disease-causing organisms, sometimes they harbor in plants. They harbor around the environment. Yes, so
Thank you, Prof.
it's the other way around. Yes, thank you.
This is from Ifena. Is asking what is the difference between vaccination and treatment in animal?
Vaccination is a routine health I wouldn't call it injection, procedures that is being given to especially poultry birds at certain stages, from maybe when they're immediately brought in, you give them that for them to be able to withstand the effects of outbreak of any form of disease. So they have, like the Gumboro, they have a schedule that they give to them at every stage of their growth, so that they will not be able to come directly in contact with those, just like the human beings that you give vaccination against those deadly diseases in human beings. The same thing is applicable to animals. They have their own routine depending on the animal.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. This is from Hassan, and Hassan is asking, are there specific hygiene standards we must meet to get certified or supply restaurants and retailers? And he's asking again, how can we turn farm waste into a resource without compromising hygiene?
Turning farm waste into what?
Turning farm waste into a resource without compromising hygiene.
Yes, it's normally done. For example, do you know we use the cattle dung, cow dung, to generate energy in farms, in integrated farms. They dry them, dehydrate them, and then they pass through pipes, and then at the end you get it. If you go to any of the Shanghai farms, you will get it. You see how it is being done. So it's doable. That can be done. You can also transform your waste to wealth. That is an aspect of waste to wealth. And it is a form of serious resource to people. In fact, there are a lot of people, you know, there are some farms that generate their electricity and power, you know, to cooking gas from those waste. So they move from one farm to the other to be able to collect enough for them to manage in their farms.
Okay. This is from YouTube. We're taking this from YouTube, and this person is asking, please, can you emphasize on how hygiene preserves farm produce organically?
Hygiene produce farm produce.
Yes. How hygiene preserve farm products. Produce, I beg your pardon, organically. How hygiene preserve farm produce organically?
Okay, first and foremost, it depends on the products you want to produce. Are you producing organic or inorganic products? Because there is certification for organic farmers, and there are steps that are being taken by organic farmers to be sure and then that their products are organic products, and at the same time they are certified and they have organic labels. Once it is certified and then they have the organic labels, if you go to big malls, shopping malls, you will see that some of the crops, for example, the fruits that we have, some have labels on it, and some they will just write organic apple, for example. Inorganic. That means the organic one, they don't use any form of inorganic fertilizer, organic fertilizer or pesticides or whatever on it. They know the way, they follow the procedures for organic production. But in this time, when he's talking about hygiene to preserve farm products organically, maybe he or she is referring to the local materials or products that we can use to preserve our products, like the one I made mention of using garlic, ginger, pepper, etc. Why this, or a combination of that? Why this is good is because, you know, it can preserve them from pests, like the tiny pests like what do you call it? Those beetles, like the beans beetle, Calasibrancus, those tiny beetles that feed on the beans, and then the other ones that feed on other grains like corn and rice. So they use that locally to prevent those pests from attacking our stored products. It is an aspect of stored product pests.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. This will be the last one. Prof, you're going to answer this, and Mr. Black will come in answering this before he jumps into the next session. This is on disruption. Growing up, I know there is this particular chicken they call, I mean, the chicken they call agric fowl, right? That was for that particular period, but evolving in this farm, we noticed the broiler now, which is way faster. And so my question is on disruption, which has to do with security, right? Why hasn't the cattle farming yet been disrupted, despite the fact we have very intelligent persons like you in this very sector? Why haven't we been able to disrupt the cattle sections? We still have the nomadic instead of the maybe sedentary practice that we're supposed to have, and this is equally impacting on our security, man.
That's a security question. You are talking about nomadic farmers that needs to move their cattle from one location to the other. It is a tradition of a particular tribe of people, which you know, okay? Especially in the northern part of the country. But what is obtainable elsewhere and most other places, even in our states, is ranching, where they bring the animals together. You know, they have an open space, and the space is being, cordoned off from the farm so that they don't destroy stuff. And then they will move from that location, they will move around, and then they produce pastures for them, they grow pastures for them, and then they feed them. So this nomadic pastoral way of keeping cattle has to do with the tradition of the people of old, not today. But with much awareness creation, sensitization, and ability to and education, I believe that with time we will be able to surmount that. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Black, I want you to see this question from this very light. Someone said it's because it's way cheaper. That is the reason why we still see them thriving, and that the disruption has not yet stepped into this the cattle farming. What do you think, or what measures are being put in place that this nomadic lifestyle fizzle away? Because a lot of persons are complaining. I mean, I know I'm not supposed to be talking about the security aspect, but it seems to me like there are no better ways to do this than what they are doing.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, moderator. So yes, you need to understand that largely, even beyond the nomadic farming, that Nigeria is still practicing agriculture. We have cultural norms, we have the ways of doing things, and it is only recently that things are changing. So this whole nomadic thing, it's not necessarily new. And even when you go to crop production, there are old ways of doing things. Our fathers are still having land tenure system. Our fathers are still farming and leaving lands for 2 years before they come back to farm. And it is taking a gradual toll before we have a complete shift to innovative and better ways of doing things. Now, like Prof has answered, this has been a cultural norm, and it will take, unfortunately, this generation needs things to happen in speed of light. I'm very, very certain that it is going to take a while, but of course it is going to work, that we are going to totally change from the nomadic method, whether it is cheap, whether it is easier, but modern day technology has shown that there are better ways to achieve this. And so we will gradually have a cultural shift, a cultural norm from this. So in as much as, yes, maybe that is one part of agriculture that is causing some form of rancor and chaos right now. But I assure you that we have other practices that is even mitigating the whole development in agricultural process far more. For example, we are talking. Let us talk about deforestation. Currently, farmers, by the time they want to do maybe vegetable or any other type of farming, they bring down all the trees in the farm. I tell you that that is a very, very, we've seen by virtue of climate change and by virtue of soil degradation, that is a very harmful practice. But because maybe it has not affected you, you've not seen it, it's only the farmers and only the scientists and only researchers are knowing. That's why we are not shouting. So just like nomadic way of animal growth, other practices are there that it will take a while for farmers to begin to change. So let's not see this nomadic as something that is very, very persistent, as something that has refused to change. I tell you that there are people that have started practicing ranching today, and it is going to start one by one. I know of Nim Farms. Nim Farms is a cow rancher, and he does not practice. He has over 200 cows, and he does not practice nomadic. He is a northerner. And I believe that once they start one by one, before in the next, in fact, in my own projection, within the next 10 to 15 years, Nigeria will actually experience a turnaround. But let us not expect it to be immediate and sudden, because these are cultural norms.
Thank you so much, Mr. Black. And I want to thank you, Professor, for the time you had with us. We really, really appreciate you. We would like to have you back in subsequent time. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Please, moderator, please. Prof, before you leave, since you finish your class, can you just briefly maybe put on your video so that your students can see? If that's okay by you, your students can just get to see you. And if they see you on the road, they say, that's the professor that taught us.
Yes, please. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we're with you, Prof. While that is coming up, please, I want to apologize for the questions that we are unable to take for this very session. And please, if you could drop all questions that have not been taken in the group, it will be duly attended to.
Okay, Prof, if that's not comfortable for you, then for now, if that's not okay, no problem. I'm sure that we'll have very many other opportunities to get to see you in physical. Yes, there is a mask. Yes, please. So that's fine, Prof. That's fine. Thank you so much. We sincerely appreciate it. I want to once again appreciate you publicly. You know, when I called you and we reached out to you and shared this idea with you, you welcomed us with open arms, and you just told me, Black, send a letter, and we sent a letter. And today, this partnership with Akwa Ibom State University has become a fruition. We have over 5 lecturers that have been released by the VC to be part of this training. The first lecturer we had in this session, the class 1, was a lecturer from AXU. Today, as the second lecturer, you've taken the third class, and we are, oh yes, we can see you, dear Prof.
Prof is up.
Yes. Prof, thank you so much. We can see you on your video.
Thank you.
So, I really, really want to thank you. You've supported young people. There are so many young people on this call today who are eager to go into agriculture, and they need the mentorship and they need the support. And having someone like you come to teach us today is a very, very big inspiration to the young people. Thank you so much, Prof. And you'll be hearing from us continually.
Thank you very much. I appreciate my listeners. I appreciate my farmers. And I appreciate the organizers for a job well done.
Prof, also, let it not just be GSAI speaking. I don't know which of the students will want to do a thank you message to you. If you would like to speak to Prof, can I see, just raise your hand and we will briefly unmute you to say something. Any student? Okay, we have the first, Juliet. Ask to unmute. Juliet, please, you have the mic. Tell us where you're listening from, and then give a thank you message to Prof. We will take just 2 people after Juliet.
Yeah, Prof, I've joined from Sokoto State, Nigeria.
Wow.
The northern part. I kept quiet when you are talking about, here we have a style of how we do our own dungeon and everything. Mostly we use it for my new here, but well, I'm still learning. Our people need a lot of enlightenment when it comes to hygiene on farms. I want to appreciate you, Prof.
Thank you.
We keep praying for good health and long life for people like you, for mentorship. And we want to really appreciate you. On behalf of my fellow participants, we say big thank you to you. And we continue to pray for more of your wisdom, for more of your mentorship, good health. Thank you very much, Prof. We are so excited.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all the participants this evening, and thank you for listening.
We'll be taking Kainde Idowu. Kainde Idowu, you have the mic. 1 minute, please. Kainde Idowu, speak. Unmute and speak, please.
Okay. Prof, well done for this job. This topic is a topic that touches life. And knowing the devastating effect of abuse of pesticide poisoning and food poisoning, in fact, what you have done today is more or less work of evangelism. You are touching lives. We appreciate you. And I want to also thank the organizer that this intervention should be continuous. This is a field that I have also been trained in crop protection. I know the depth of what you have done today. And I believe my fellow participants will begin to realize when they go through these recordings once again, that this thing is just an eye-opener on how to save lives and how to make our products acceptable in the international market. Well done, Mom. God bless you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Kainde, where are you speaking from? Kainde, where are you speaking from?
Speaking from Lagos. Speaking from Lagos.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, the last person will be taking, please, the last person will be taking is Nasir Abubakar. Unmute and speak. Nasir Abubakar. Kainde, please mute yourself.
Okay.
Nasir Abubakar, can you speak? If you're speaking, you're mute. Unmute and speak.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Good afternoon. I'm speaking here from Bauchi State.
From where?
From Bauchi State.
Okay.
Wow.
Without taking much time, I'm here to thank you for this presentation. Thank you very much, and we'll make sure that we use this knowledge, not only us, will enlighten people of our area. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Prof, I know I mentioned 2 people, but I've seen a hand, and it will be very unfair that one of our students that is from Akwa Ibom State is there. So let her also, on behalf of Akwa Ibom State students, participants, not students, these are all big farmers from their different fields. So one of the Akwa Ibom State participants, let her also speak and thank you. So Utiba Ekwa, unmute and speak.
All right, thank you so very much. Good evening, Prof. Good evening, everyone. Sincerely, Prof, I want to seize this opportunity to appreciate you. I've attended trainings before, and you notice that some facilitators would definitely hide information from participants. But I've listened, I've watched how you poured out your wealth of knowledge to us, and I personally have learned a lot. So I want to say thank you so very much. I know for those of us that are in Akwa Ibom, anytime we get to ask you and mention GSAI, definitely Prof will give us an audience. Thank you so very much, Prof, for the opportunity.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you, Prof. That is all we'll take so that we can release you and you can go back. I know you just finished a very lengthy training with NNPC for farmers over the week. So let us release you.
Yes,
thank you so much. I know the depth of sacrifice you have had for us. Thank you so much. So we'll just continue. Prof, please, if you are still with us, thank you, but you can leave if you want to. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so I'll just take it up from your moderator. Thank you so much for all you've done. We will basically the regular introductions, the regular announcements about certificate acquisition. If you're interested in that, you are able to get your certificate there. I see people here complaining that the attendance form is not opening. That probably is a technical issue. So this same issue happened last week. So we are going to, don't bother about that. We are going to mark attendance for everybody last week and this week, because that technical issue is from our end. So please don't just bother about that. I will try to sort it before the next class. So just be rest assured that attendance for everyone for last class and this class is ticked. That is like benefits for those that did not attend, but so that we do not unknowingly get to have issues with those that have attended, we will just give a cross attendance for everybody. Then yes, we will also just want to spotlight some of our partners briefly before we call it a day. So technical, can you just spotlight the flyers from our partners? Hello, technical, are you there? Can you just share flyers from our partners? Yes. So in the next class, we'll be having the Farm app. One of them will come in and talk to us more, but I just want us to familiarize ourselves with the partners for this training, people that have supported us for this training, that have joined to ensure that we have a Zoom account that can carry us beyond 40 students, beyond 100 students, and can carry us beyond 40 minutes. People that have ensured that we are able to do all the things we need to do to be able to do this. And of course, I'm sure that in the next class, we will also have somebody, in the subsequent class, we will also have somebody from AXU come to talk about Akwa Ibom State University. For those of you that do not know the university, you will also hear about them and probably consider them for your younger ones or for yourself as you continue in your academic activities. So yes, we have the Farm app. The next one, please, the next partner slide. That's Diasbla Agro Industries. Okay, this is our second partner for this project. Diasbla Agro Food Store. They are part of they are part of the partners that have also helped us make it happen. These people, this Diasbla Agro sells, they deal in fresh food items. And in the course of the project, we will also reach out. They will also come and get to talk to us about what they do. And finally, finally, please, in the group, in the WhatsApp group, we'll be dropping the links to our social media. That is GSAI social media. The least you can do for us for this free training is to follow us on social media, help us boost our social media presence, interact with our posts, interact with our activities. And when we are also sharing Professor Edna's profile, we'll also share with her social media accounts that you can interact with her, you can link up with her and get more information about her from there. That will be all for today's session. See you in the next, our classes hold only on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So today is Tuesday. The next class will be on Saturday. So prepare by 4 p.m. The next class will be holding. And then the final announcement is about our certificates. Like I mentioned, this training is very free, 100% free. But should you want the certificate, the accredited certificate, there is that subsidized fee of just 5,000 Naira to pay between now and the ending of the training. That is very optional. You can get this training. You can go without having to, you don't need to pay anything for this training. The facilitators course material will be shared to you in the WhatsApp group without any cost implication. The only time you are required to make a subsidized payment is if you request the certificate out of this training. But other than that, everything here is free. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll be taking this, we'll be closing for now. Thank you for coming out early and staying through to the end of the training. Like I mentioned, attendance for this class and last class will be ticked. Hopefully by the next class, the technical issue will be resolved and we will be able to take proper attendance. Thank you and see you in the WhatsApp group.